Have you ever looked at the Philippines, with its stunning beaches and incredible marketing campaigns, and wonder why it's not a bigger tourist magnet? It's a real head scratcher. The country seems to have all the right ingredients, but year after year, it falls short of its own tourism goals. So we're going to dig in and figure out what's really going on. So let's set the scene. At the beginning of 2025, the Department of Tourism came out with this really big, bold number. They were aiming for 8.4 million foreign visitors. You could feel the optimism. It was supposed to be this huge comeback year for tourism. But when the year wrapped up and the numbers were tallied, the reality was, well, a little different. Only 5.6 million visitors actually showed up. That's a 33% shortfall. I mean, that's not just missing the target, it's missing it by a mile. And that brings us to the big question, the one we're here to unpack today. With so much going for it, why does the Philippines keep having this problem? What actually went wrong? Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really look at that missed goal. Then we'll see why this is about more than just marketing. After that, we'll uncover some of the issues crumbling from the inside, rethink the whole tourist map, and finally lay out a possible blueprint for success. All right, let's start with that spectacular miss. Because this isn't just about crunching the numbers for one off year. This is about understanding a pattern, a history of untapped potential. You see, this isn't a new problem. This has been happening for a long time, across different governments and different leaders. And when you see a problem that keeps repeating itself like that, it tells you the roots go pretty deep. It's not just a simple fix. So where do you even begin to look for answers? Well, your first instinct might be to point the finger at marketing. Maybe the campaigns weren't good enough, but as we're about to see, the issue isn't really the advertising, it's the goals themselves. And here's where it gets really interesting. Look at the strategy. The Philippines has this habit of setting these huge, ambitious goals and then falling short. Meanwhile, its neighbors like Thailand and Vietnam do the opposite. They set more conservative, achievable goals, and then they consistently beat them. It just creates a completely different story of success. Veteran journalist Bu Chanko really hits the nail on the head with this. He says, look, any pro marketer knows that before you go making these bold promises, you have to make sure the goal is actually attainable. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up to fail in public. Okay, this brings us to the real meat of the issue. Because you can have the slickest marketing campaign on the planet, but if the product itself, the actual experience of being a tourist, is broken, people just aren't going to come back. Let's look at those foundational cracks. So what are we talking about here? These are the real culprits. Tourists complain about attractions that aren't well kept. Getting from one island to another can be a nightmare with inefficient or unsafe transport. Even just finding a decent, affordable place to stay can be a real challenge. I mean, these are the fundamentals, the basics that have to work. And this right here is so critical. Just think about it for a second. Your trip literally starts and ends at the airport or the seaport. If that experience is smooth and welcoming, you feel great. But if it's chaotic and stressful, well, that can taint the memory of your entire vacation. Now, on top of all those infrastructure issues, there's another major strategic problem we need to talk about: putting way too many eggs in one basket by relying almost entirely on a single tourist market that is now, well, pretty much dried up. I mean, just look at this chart. It's stunning. Back in 2019, before the pandemic, the Philippines got 1.74 million visitors from China. Fast forward to 2025, and that number has plummeted to just over 262,000. That's not a dip, that's a collapse. It's a perfect example of the risk you run when you're over-reliant on one source. And here's what the new reality looks like. China has dropped all the way down to 6th place. Who's at the top now? South Korea, the US, Japan, Australia, and Canada. This is a huge, flashing sign that it's time to pivot and focus on where the visitors are actually coming from now. Okay, so we've laid out the problems pretty clearly, but it's not all doom and gloom. There is a path forward. The source material actually gives us a really clear 4-step blueprint for how to turn all of this around. Let's break it down. So here it is, the 4-point plan for a comeback. Number 1, plan holistically. You got to see the whole picture. Number 2, diversify your markets. Stop relying on just one. 3, fix the foundation. Focus on those basic things like roads and ports. And 4, invest in people. Better training, better hospitality, a better experience for everyone. I love this idea of holistic planning.
And the source uses a great metaphor, the jigsaw puzzle approach. Think about it. You don't just randomly force pieces together. You dump out all the pieces, see what you have, figure out what's missing, and then you strategically find the right parts, whether that's new facilities, better equipment, or skilled people, to make the whole picture complete. And really, it all boils down to this single, crucial point. Success isn't going to come from a fancier slogan or a bigger ad budget. It's about doing the hard, unglamorous work of building a better experience from the ground up, for every single tourist, every step of the way. So, the blueprint is right there. The potential is undeniable. It always has been. The big question that's left is all about execution. Can the Philippines finally put these pieces together and turn all that incredible potential into a reliable, world-class performance? We'll have to wait and see.